Connecticut Congressman Larson, who is up for re-election, has filed articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. Larson says the move comes amid the unrest in the Middle East and the president's comments on social media recently this week. Fox 61's Joe Monte has more on the move and an update on the war in Iran. And we made a bit of a breakthrough last night, Joe, in terms of a temporary ceasefire. Tell us about that.
Good morning, Bridget. Yeah, a lot of major updates over the course of the last 12 hours last night in Iran and at home with some of our local leaders. I'll start with John Larson. He filed articles of impeachment against the president, and he's also calling on the president's cabinet following this Iran war and some of the president's statements in recent times regarding Iran, some of the threats that he's made. He's calling to invoke the 25th Amendment. Now, what this would mean is that the vice president would basically take power, and this is typically used when the president dies or resigns or cannot discharge their duties. Now, Larson is calling for this because he says the president is putting our security at risk. Senator Chris Murphy joined in on these calls. Take a listen.
The president has promised to commit war crimes. He's promised to eradicate an entire civilization. We have never, ever seen that in the history of this country. That's why I and many other people have been talking for the last 24 hours about the 25th Amendment.
Now, yesterday, the president reached a historic deal with Iran for what he calls a complete, immediate, and safe opening to the Strait of Hormuz. They've also reached a 2-week ceasefire, and Iran submitted a 10-point plan for peace, and President Trump says that it's a workable basis to negotiate, and ultimately, the goal is for long-term peace in Iran and the Middle East. Senate Republicans appear to be behind the president. Even Senator Mitch McConnell, who's no major ally of the president, he supports this fight because he says Iran has already been at war with the U.S. for close to 50 years, killing many Americans and our allies.
They've been at war with us for 47 years. They've killed Americans, they've killed Israelis, they've killed throughout the Middle East our Sunni Arab allies like Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. They were bad guys.
Now, the ceasefire and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz came just about an hour before the president's deadline, before there was massive destruction in Iran, but those attacks were called off following the 10-point peace plan, the reopening of the strait. It seems like Iran might be coming to the table, at least to hold off this attack. For now, the president postponed it for another 2 weeks. We're going to have to see whether or not the ceasefire upholds, whether the strait remains open. We'll continue to keep you updated with the latest information out of Iran. For now, Joe Monte, Fox 61.
And as the strait remains open, Joe, the hope is that gas prices will start to tick back down. So we'll be following that closely. 6:06.